X-Men, Viva, everyone cannot get enough of X-Men. We've loved this since day one, but now everybody's on the bandwagon. Welcome, Legend Pop. Let's talk.
To me, my X-Men.
I definitely feel it's an overused line. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's used a little excessively.
I mean, it's
And
like
that's an
they're all
extreme
saying
nitpick
it.
for a very good show.
I feel like that's the worst of it, if anything, right?
Yeah,
So
it's a little cringe now. I don't like that term either, but
yeah,
it is.
it feels forced when it's said
But I'm
anymore
wearing
now. Sell it, all good. Well, everybody, this is really a hybrid show. This is a toy closet / press for time show because we're going to talk X-Men, but we're going to talk about the toys. We're going to talk about X-Men fever and the fact that everybody's hot for all these characters, this awesome show. We're not going to go into the show too much. I feel like we can do a really good show maybe once the series is done after next week. But I wanted to bring up an important factor, which is we've had several licenses over the last maybe 4 years or so that have had like delays, with production on the movies or the shows. And then there's always merchandise, right? So we talk about the merchandise kind of sometimes either getting to the shelves late or too early.
Yeah.
So in the
Which
case
we're
of
seeing
X-Men,
more and more. I thought we would kind of be past that. Like we were seeing that during COVID when stuff was getting delayed, and now, we're pretty much well clear of that, but we're still seeing a lot of properties, even beyond. I know we'll talk about X-Men because that's what we're really jumping into, but with Captain America, Happy Meal stuff, and some
right?
other stuff leaked recently too. Wasn't there something else that came out? Some merchandise?
I feel like the Ghostbuster stuff had come out very early before the movie, went clearance quickly, which is the other segue of that. If
Spider-Verse.
yes, if the toys get on the shelves and there's no marketing for it, people don't know about it. Not the average consumer does
Yeah.
not know about it, and they sit on the shelves, and the stores mark it down, and then it comes out, and then there's a surge in demand in some cases because the Ghostbuster stuff, the movie has not been talked about enough. I feel like it's one of those, it came and went, unfortunately,
Yeah, it's on
but
digital already.
crazy, and those toys, I saw them like a month or two before the movie came out. The movie came out, nothing on the shelves, and it's like, all right, I'm sure there's kids that enjoyed the movie. Are they like not buying the toys,
Yeah,
or
but are
like
they are they really marketed for the kids?
the ones that they released were? They're
Yeah.
the young, the movie wasn't. Let's be honest, it's more for us, but the toys were the smaller line figures that came like the single color ghosts versus the Diamond Select or
Yeah.
what could be coming in the near future with other toy makers. But those were the entry level prices, $10 figures. But again, they didn't do well for the most part, and you see them, if any stores have them left, they're on the clearance shelves.
They were that cheap.
So yeah, they were because they were like smaller packaging. So they were. I saw them the other day at Walmart. They were literally in the clearance aisle for like $6, $5. The Ecto one, same thing. And I don't
that
think
I
it's
that I remember seeing. But the
so.
the retro ones were more, I think, getting more buzz on the internet anyway. With
So
the reaction ones that did things, I forgot what they're
yes,
called.
yeah. So they were popular for a little bit, and we're talking for the real Ghostbusters for clarification, the ones that had like the fright
Yeah,
features.
right.
So I've been seeing them around. They were popular, I think, when they first came out because people didn't know, like they were finding them on the shelves before they were like formally announced. But I've seen them like sitting in GameStops. A lot of times the cards are super bent. That was kind of what happened with the older retros when the first wave came out.
Yeah,
You find them beat up everywhere, and then eventually,
but
what's the store? It was
they're
one of
more
the
expensive now too, right? Aren't they? Like, wasn't the first ones the original ones that came with the twirly proton packs $10 a figure, and now those fright ones are $15 a figure.
yep.
Just
I
a
mean,
50% bump. I mean, they're going to sit on shelves even if the cards aren't bent at that price. I feel like.
right. So there's two sides to that part of the toy game, which we can talk a little bit about, which is a lot of the companies I think are reconsidering their price hikes from last year. in some cases. Obviously they realized, one, they probably put too much on the shelves initially, and then stuff sat. Depending on what the brand was, pricing was super high. Hasbro had the big issue with the windowless, so obviously they're reverting on a lot of that stuff. But I think realistically, what we're finding is a lot of the brick and mortar stores are ordering less,
Yeah.
or they're just not getting. So the stores are bare bones. And the ones that I'm seeing it the most with, if you remember, towards the holiday, we had this major surge in Ross and Burlington and Ollie's, like getting all the buyout from all these other companies. People were buying that all up. But then what they were doing is they were essentially reselling it. Good night, buddy. And what happened is I think all those companies said, wait a minute, like, what are we doing here? And they took a step back, because I've gone to those stores. Those stores have nothing either. So it's either they're not buying anything anymore, or they got clever enough and said, we're losing money, because
Yeah.
these people they're realizing a lot of people are buying it and they're flipping it for a little more. So they're making more money than those companies were. So it's just like a crazy game. And I think at this point, we've been in the game long enough where, it's a matter of something's got to change, and the price is going up. Eventually gets to that point where people are just not going to buy it.
Right.
So, but as far as the stuff that you collect, where do you feel like the prices have like hit you the most? Like, is there specifics? I know you were doing a little bit of Super 7 here and there, but like, is there like a brand that like you, other than maybe Transformers, where like the prices just keep going up and it's just like you might want to take a step back at this point?
I mean, the Transformers, I saw the McFarlane, which I'm not heavy into anyway. They went up in price too, and I was already borderline not bothering with them. I
Right.
mean, a little bit ago, and now again, all these years blend with COVID. Uh, Lego did a little bit of a price hike. So while I also don't have a lot of the room for them, I've kind of backed off unless it's something I really want, because some of the more expensive sets can now be anywhere from $20 to $40 more expensive than they used to be, because you kind of used to be able to price them based on the amount of pieces, and now it swings. It could swing either way. Usually, a licensed property is higher than a non-licensed property, but I think they skate it pretty well.
Okay. Do you
But
feel
Transformers, it happens. That's Hasbro, though. I feel like that's just
right
Hasbro in general.
now? Do you feel like with somebody that's been collecting Transformers as long as you have, they get to a point, obviously, they're putting out, like you've said with me offline, like they're just going into the well at this point with a lot of stuff, with either repaints or characters that are not from the franchises. But like, is there anything that you want them to kind of put out at this point, where you feel like I'm good? Like, have you gotten kind of what you wanted at this point, and you
I
kind of
like
veer
that they
more
do. I like that they do the old ones. They
like
do the
the
reissues.
right,
They're not the same quality, obviously, but they have those molds. So I don't know why they're so few and far between.
the
But then,
G1s, you mean, right? Like the
yeah,
actual
the reissues essentially, even though they're not like for the 40th anniversary, right? They recently did Soundwave and Blaster. I don't know why they're not doing those. They're very overpriced for the way they are, even more so than the current brand new molds. At least I feel like I'm getting a brand new mold, something that transforms better than they used to.
right,
But I'd like to see more of those. I mean, a lot of people in the Transformer community want to see the Unicron that never came out, the Unicron from the '86 movie, the prototype
mhm,
that was in friend of the show Brian Volkweiss's Toys That Made Us. They want
right.
to see that as a HasLab. I would see it either way, a HasLab, or just produce it. Even if you produce it in limited quantity somehow, I don't. That's not a HasLab. I think that would be a really cool piece if it's done right and the parts don't feel super cheap.
Fair enough. So with the other thing I was going to mention is we talk about the official licenses that we get here, Hasbro, the big names and stuff like that. But both you and I obviously collect third party to some degree. So do we feel like a lot of those companies are they going that route from your experience as far as price hikes at all? Like, is it everybody, or do we feel like it's maybe just the bigger companies that are kind of just gradually throwing $1 or $2 in every.
I don't know. I don't. That's a good question. I don't. I mean, I feel like I do buy third party transformers. So I buy. Typically, I buy all for the listener, the viewer. I buy all across. So I buy the Hasbro. I also buy the Masterpiece, and then I buy the Masterpiece scale third party typically. So I've been buying those Masterpiece third party. I would say for maybe 10 years. And I don't feel like the price has really gotten away from it. I mean,
Right.
some of them are very expensive. I have one on the way that was more expensive than most. We'll save that for another show.
Right.
But I don't feel like they're getting away. And also, they're using die cast, so I feel like I'm getting more for my money, even if I'm spending a little bit more on them. So like the Action Master Optimus Prime, or I don't want to butcher the Japanese way, is like God Sensei Optimus Prime that they just announced, Masterpiece version. I had that pre-ordered, but it's because that was like my Optimus Prime as a kid. That was the Optimus Prime toy I had as a kid.
Right.
So like I want that. It's very, very close to my heart and nostalgia. But I have no doubt in my mind that it's not going to be as well made as many of the third party that I have. And it's significantly more expensive.
Right. And I believe that's the one that I told you I grew up with also, right? Where he kind of turned into a block and goes into like the extra armor.
Yes.
Which is the trailer essentially.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. No, that's
which
cool.
It still is. I mean, for better or worse. I mean,
right.
They've done a better job with it. Before you just like standing up the trailer.
Yeah, he was just.
Yeah. And I have an actual reissue still in the box because I somewhere along the way I lost the original one I had as a kid, which I saved a bunch of my Transformers, and that was like the key one I wanted to save. And that one ended up, who knows? Could still be in the house in Daffodil Court somewhere.
We played the Titanic music for it.
Go down with the ship.
Yep. With the third party stuff, I've learned, because I have done more figures more than like Transformers. But
camera.
What happened?
Yeah, the camera's like moving all over the place.
I remember last time you was like tracking you everywhere.
Yeah, I'm using a different iPad this time. I'm fancy.
Oh, you got the new one that was announced today, right?
Not yet. That's a whole different show. I like the way it looks. I just won't buy another one. I have too many already.
$3,000 it can go up to. Crazy money.
Well, because it's like 2 terabytes, so you don't need that though.
I'm over here fighting with 64 gigs. I try to export our show, and it gets to the end, and it's like,
it's struggling.
I got you $1.
I got you $1.
But no, I was gonna say with the third party stuff, I have ventured into the well, and I've jumped into my first third party Transformer, as I've talked to you a little bit off the show with. But my big thing with this is, one, the price. We've talked about, like you said, Hasbro, everybody raising the prices. What's the average for the larger scale? $200, sometimes $250.
The Titan scale?
Yeah.
Yes, 200.
Right? So this guy was like on sale. This was a site that you actually referred me to. I don't recall the name. I'll add the link if anybody's interested. It was on sale. I think even when we spoke last, it was $160.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind waiting, you can get free shipping. And it took like a month. But
because it's coming from China.
Right.
Yeah.
But my God.
Damn, boy, he's thick. Boy, that's a thick ass boy.
I mean, I'm going to eventually open this. I don't know where the hell it's going to go, but I am so excited. And the fact that the design is so much more accurate to what I was hoping for than the one that came out, 10 years ago?
Yeah, not even, right? Probably less
than that. And then the one that they butchered last year.
Yeah, let's forget that one even exists.
That was a change.
What the is this piece of shit?
But that Metroplex, I'm really eager to see how it looks like more in person than seeing online pictures.
Right.
I was very close. I was very close to getting it, but they put up a reissue of another one, so we'll tease that's the one that's on the way. Another third party one that I've been eyeing up for a long time. So that's the one that's en route, and
Nice.
will be revealed when it shows up.
There's one that
Dare I say bigger than Metroplex?
I mean, there was one that I showed interest in. I don't remember if I ever showed it to you, but forgive me because I don't really know the character, but I think it's like supposed to be like the first, and it's like a kind of Unicron sized character. Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about? It's like a
Yeah.
third party. Is that it?
No.
Oh, okay. What was that guy? Do you
It was
remember?
like Primus or something.
Primus. Yeah, not the band.
Yeah.
Jerry was a race car driver. But that I mean, for me, the one thing we've always said offline is just like, for me as a Transformers fan, I love it from growing up, but your love goes to the core of the lore, the story, all the characters. For me, just like I love growing up with it, and then I've just grown to love a lot of the designs. So sometimes I'll buy a character that I don't know. And you're always like, I'm buying this guy. This guy's not even in the show. This guy, I'm like, it looks cool to me, So
Yeah.
that one Primus guy, I thought that was like, that's pretty sick looking. So
Yeah, there is occasion that I'll do that. Not often, but like he's
Right.
still in the box, but the Tarn that they
Right.
made is from the comic universe. I thought it was cool because his head was a Decepticon logo, basically, and I really don't know his backstory or any of that. I know he's from the comic universe. And now
Right.
the comic universe, quick sidebar, since Skybound has been doing Skybound has been doing the Transformer comics, oh my God. They're
So good.
unbelievably good.
Yeah.
Unbelievably good, to the point that I will admit it as a man that I teared up reading it.
Hey,
in
if
a
the
book about robots.
listen, ladies and gentlemen, we have cried over Optimus. Let's not forget. Okay. And I'm not talking about when we were kids. I'm talking last week. I'm talking
earlier today.
I'm talking Paul and I going to the theater. If they were showing it again, we'd be crying again.
Well, wait, they're showing the movie. Aren't they showing the movie?
I know. I thought a certain friend of the show said we were going to see the movie again. I was going to bring all my tissues.
But I'm at the level now with my masterpiece collection, as I can see them in the living room here where I'm recording tonight, that I'm pretty content with the collection I have now. I'm sure eventually there'll be more and more that I want, but like, I really knocked out what I was looking to get. I don't have a lot of original season 1, season 2 Decepticons, but I do have movie Decepticons. So I have third party Galvatron, Cyclonus, Scourge, Reflector, the camera. Then I have Shockwave and Soundwave in there because they survive the purge of that movie. And then Autobot wise, I have both. So season 1, season 2, and then movies. And then I have all the Dinobots. We're just waiting on Swoop from the studio series. So that's in that showcase is pretty much all third party and first party masterpiece, plus the studio series Dinobot, which actually fit in pretty well, surprisingly, with the masterpiece, and Jetfire, who is also fits in pretty well with the masterpiece scale wise. That's the concern.
That's the third party or the Hasbro?
No, that's the Hasbro Skyfire, Jetfire, however you want to say it.
Yeah, I have both OG, G1, and new. I love the original, obviously, because I'm a sucker for Robotech, but I think they did a good job kind of giving him his own design eventually.
Yeah.
I know he was so reminiscent of that for so long.
Yeah, and this was like made for the Netflix show, right? But
yeah.
It's very close. It's very, very close to the G1 version. Like I said, size-wise, he should be taller than most, and he is. So
right. And quick sidewind back to the Dinobots. The collection is finally complete.
About freaking time.
Took long enough now. Now it's to one day decide if I'm gonna actually build them or not. Yep. Or just stack them like everything else in this office. Stack. All right, so let's do a nice Transformers transition, and let's talk back to X-Men. I want to bring up the fact that the love is so high for this show, and obviously people are eager to buy and support whatever they can for it, with the exception of the 3-inch figures because they're everywhere. you can't sell those.
The
But
epic scale ones.
the tiny ones.
They're
So they're like 3 point. Are they a little bigger than the other ones? Okay. Yeah, the ones that the epic was the Sentinel, that wave. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've only seen those. I'll occasionally find a Bishop, a Jean Grey, but I remember 3 months ago, clearance. Now, Wolverine, average going price between $60 to $100. Rogue, $80 to $100 on average.
Wow.
Gambit, $50 to $60. It's insane. Nightcrawler is like you can get him now, but I think like that's gonna eventually
because he was the second wave.
Right. So there's out there still, but that first wave, I mean, you could find Gene, you could find Executioner because he was really one episode, but again, it just goes back to what happened. Where's the disconnect? Obviously, there was a delay in the show. We know all that stuff, but when it comes to the success of a franchise in toy form, it really has to be hit or miss when it comes to the releases. Because now, I mean, the one thing I've seen Hasbro do as of this year for the first time in a while is they're actually doing reissues, which they're not notorious for, if you remember. So Hasbro Pulse recently did a Joe Fixit resurge. They did Captain America Bucky Barnes. So, is there hope, for people that are, that missed out, that we could hope? Because at the end of the day, I have to say I'm a sucker, but I've opened one so far and like I absolutely love the mold. Like this Cyclops is awesome. And they did a great job with these. And I feel that as much as I love having them on the retro card on the wall, certain figures like that just are worth opening. And the Wolverine, I just don't know if I can get myself to do it. Not necessarily because of the value, but it's a really awesome figure. For those that have not seen it, he comes with the mask off that you can wear on his neck.
Oh.
And you got the good old Nightcrawler. You're right over there? Trouble at home?
The camera's struggling to keep up with me moving.
What's going on with this guy?
I'm on a ship.
I'm on a boat. So then we got Nightcrawler, which very funny. Friend of the show, Grizz Diz, had maybe 2 weeks before I got this, gifted me this. So it's like the one thing that's cool is he actually has one of the swords. So I'm like, do I open that? And I just keep him in the card. Because again, they don't all have the cell shading like the VHS. His face does a little bit, but that's okay because that's kind of his design. But I just think that now that the surge is up there, and then the guys that work for Hasbro said no plans on a wave 3, at least not this year.
Yes, they're going to make a wave 3. It just won't be this year, and they're definitely going to do reissues. I don't know how soon, but they're definitely based on popularity. Maybe the boat will be missed by then. I don't know,
right?
Because like you said, they released them so far before the show came out that I mean, even these X-Men characters that should be flying off the shelves anyway, some stores didn't have the patience to wait it out and then clearance them out, so they may not be quick to restock or continue to buy them. I don't know, unless Hasbro does sets where they take the molds and put them in boxes.
Yeah, or what I'm seeing with those reissues, they have them exclusive between them Hasbro Pulse, Big Bad Toy, or Entertainment.
Yeah.
Because one of the other big ones that they did was Blob. And they threw Blob on Big Bad, but for $80. He was retail, I think, about $60. So, I mean, still an expensive figure when you think about it.
But is that Hasbro or is that Big Bad Toy Store marking it up?
No, well, it's definitely them marking it up
Yeah.
without a doubt. But I don't think you were able to even get him on Hasbro Pulse. It was just
Right.
them. So I don't
It's
know if
one
they
of
just
those
came
fan
into.
channel things.
So I don't know if they got them from Hasbro or they got them from someone else. Another
Right.
distributor might have been holding on.
I
So.
think Hasbro is trying to keep everybody happy between fan channels and Target, and then selling on their own. So I'll use this as a tiny side derail segue. They announced the set on Hasbro Pulse. The set went up for pre-order either the same day or the next day, and then that set was in a box in front of my house before the week was out.
Right.
That is
Which
this
is
set. That is your set. This is
Yep.
your set that is waiting for you. The Ant-Man and Janet Wasp set. It's zooming. I'm not choosing it to do that. And this is the way it should be, where they announce it, you order it from Pulse,
It's ready.
and it's there, ready to go. No one knew this set was even coming out.
Right. I think
So
that even the people at
really
Hasbro was shocked.
well-kept secret.
Right. Well, if they want to really make us happy, we can get that little vault that you have with the HasLabs that you had, where you had two Galactus. I mean, you had two something that didn't last.
Yeah,
I don't remember if
Unicron,
I don't know if it was Unicron or one of the other Star Wars things, but come on, let's get a Sentinel, let's get a Galactus. I missed out.
And I'll say this, it is slight spoiler, but the clip has been on the internet so much that I don't think it really is. But I could see them doing a costume variant versions as a pack where they have Cyclops and Jean and Wolverine in these alternate costumes from the show, from the most recent episode before this is airing.
San Diego Comic-Con.
They could. I don't know if it'll be ready in time at this point, right? Because the Cyclops would have to be a different mold. Jean would have to be a different mold. The Wolverine, you could keep the same mold and just change color scheme.
Well, I mean, they released him before, so they have that brown suit mold because he was in the gray retro cards. He's actually right here, like literally right there. Boom.
Yeah.
So,
but you want to keep it with the same.
I'm saying
mold
figure
with the hood part. It had that too.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, if they come out with anything that resembles Pride of the X-Men, you know how I am. And I would like to get this on the record because you and I have been friends for a long time. I've been a Pride of the X-Men fan since a kid, and I'm absolutely loving that it's getting attention, even though, people, for what it is, it really was a gateway for me in so many ways, despite Wolverine, but I watched it again today, and it's just so many emotions of like, when I saw that, I'm like, oh my God, like this is just as good as if it was live action because it was comics to life, and it was a pilot. It didn't get landed, but it became, what we know now. And a huge thank you to Larry Houston and the team for doing that, and for Bo for telling people to watch it. Because again, I don't think enough people knew about it. So like the one thing I love, slight segue for the show, is certain scenes when they're in that last area, the colors were just so rich of that nostalgia between the brown suit, the reds, and the lining. It was just like chef's kiss. I can't praise it enough. But if they do that, I will lose my mind. Because I mean, that Cyclops has not had a mold since, I'm thinking, Toy Biz. So I don't know if Hasbro has done that particular suit with the yellow boots. So that would be awesome.
Someone will pull it up.
But I mean, what would have made the episode even better is if we would have had Colossus and Juggernaut. Just have them there. Like just have that moment. Yeah, why? I mean, I thought it was a little weird that Magneto didn't have a posse per se, because he's always had a posse, but we'll save that for another time. But yeah, I think with these toys, again, the love is so strong, and I feel bad for anybody that's like a genuine collector that missed out. And I hope that Hasbro, does the right thing, and if they can, put them out. I don't think it hasn't even been 6 months.
Right.
You can manufacture again. That's my logic, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, there's controlled scarcity, right? So it's really
Is
what they want to
artificial
do.
demand,
Yeah.
artificial demand all day. It's the same story, eternally retold in the wise words of Soul Calibur.
Yeah.
But just like the X-Men, if you think about it, the story that they're telling, they've been telling it for decades.
Some of those
right?
stories are told exactly they are in the comic books.
Fatal Attraction, baby.
Fatal Attractions. Yes.
That should be the name of the episode.
Well, then people
But-
might think it's some
Yeah.
like Basic Instincts and
Yeah,
kind of provocative kind of thing.
Get those clickbait, right? We got to get back into clickbait. Want to see some legs? This is not the show for it. All right. Well, I think I'm good with that at this point. Again, I'd like to maybe sit with you, maybe someone else, so we can discuss the show when it's over. We can digest that as a whole. But did you have anything else you wanted to chat about?
Morph Smash.
So good.
You don't even say what it means.
So good.
That's it.
Take care.
You're not going to show any other toys.
I mean, I didn't want to overwhelm because you said you didn't have access to everything.
Well, I had the pictures that I sent you.
Oh, baby. See this guy. You got to remind me.
Unbelievable!
I mean, look, one hand washes the other, right? One reminder. So, Legend Pop. What am I showing first?
Might as well. We spoke Transformers.
Boom.
So this is actually my office. One of the shelves in the office. I started making a little Autobot shelf, which I think I've showed on here somewhat. This is usually to the left
from
of
a distance.
From the image, it's on my left, but you're right. Then, so actually to the right, the Grimlock is a Super 7 Grimlock that was on sale. So that's a pretty cool one. Doesn't transform or anything, but comes with wheelie, and I think he's pretty cool, pretty well done.
How's the articulation?
Very limited. He's pretty good. Yeah, all the joints in the arms.
Ball joint right here too.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, and he's pretty hefty feeling. He doesn't feel like a hollowed out, toy.
Right. Nice.
Rodimus, which you and I have spoke of, is really well done. I'm not a huge Rodimus or Hot Rod guy, but this is a really well done Hasbro. Kudos to them on that. These are all some of the Optimus or some of the older stuff I've had, just putting them on display. I have a whole Optimus shelf also, but there you go. The Gears, who's to the left of Optimus, he's the latest edition. He just came last week. And nice. He is one of the last of the mini bots from the original G1. And they've done a really good job scale-wise with him and Beachcomber and all the rest there. Brawn. And then the Wheeljack, which I think you've gotten also, is the latest. He's bigger than the Jazz and the Bumblebee that are there. And I'm still not super impressed with his aesthetic compared to those two, but I do like it.
You like them more in robot and in vehicle mode when you prefer usually in robot mode, right?
Well, these because they're G1 first episode versions, but right. The Bumblebee and the Jazz look more cartoony to me, whereas the Wheeljack, the appearance kind of looks like it's trying to be the Legacy line,
the Cybertron,
or the Netflix show. Like it doesn't feel as cartoony, even though they're not cell shaded or anything like that.
Got it. No, it's a nice shelf, and I love the Rodimus because I have my Hot Rod Rodimus Inception on my shelf, where I have the regular Hot Rod on top, holding the Matrix in a fully transformed.
It's really cool that the trailer portion actually has a drawer that you can slide out to put like additional accessories that he comes with in there. So like
up here, right?
No, it's underneath the bottom, actually, where that orange is. Yeah, in the middle. And you could slide it in, and that's like an extra, literally a drawer. And it shows you in the book that's where you could store stuff. Like, Hasbro never used to do that kind of stuff. I mean, Optimus's trailer used to throw everything back there, but, I mean, that was a trailer, so you're supposed to do it.
Right. Cool. Next one.
Yeah, the only other thing I wanted, we haven't done a show in a long time, so there's plenty of stuff that I've gotten. But this was one that I really thought was cool. Eventually, it's going to get built and put on the wall. Is Lego Batman, the animated series, Gotham City. It's like a huge mural. Recently went up, I think last month, I want to say in April.
Yeah, I think one of the earlier
or
shows we
March.
did, we actually showed it off.
Yeah, it's a really cool set. We spoke about it. I haven't built it yet, obviously. But it's definitely something I plan on putting on the wall and putting it up.
I mean,
It's the first big Lego set I bought in some time.
My attention's more over here.
There's a Spider-Man hiding there. That's my the comic books go along the whole bottom row there.
Nice. And the Toddy Max. Are these Toddy Max?
Yes, those are.
Yeah, I know that white bottom.
Batman, the animated series line, which I've showed off on here before too. You can see slightly above the Batman is a Evercade controller. A lot of Easter eggs.
Oh, yeah, your favorite. That's the Versus one, right?
Yeah, that's the controller for the Versus, which I got some games this week actually for the Evercade.
You love that thing.
It's a cool little system for $20 games. I mean, that are multiple games.
Right.
Some classics. So you support emulation, you could support a system that makes $20 games.
Agreed. And there obviously there are more than one game on there too.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you got a library of games.
Awesome.
So that was my little haul.
No, I appreciate it. I'm sorry I forgot. You got the as Joe says, the dementia.
Accepted.
The dementia is hitting us hard.
Dementia.
Got All right. So yeah, we'll connect soon. Appreciate everybody stopping in. Take care. Have fun. Till all are one.
That's my line. My